our much awaited guest speaker today, His Grace Navina Nirada Prabhu. Let us welcome Prabhu by 3 times loudly chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for joining us today. Navin Nirad Prabhu does not require much of a big introduction. He is a well-known all over the world. A brief synopsis about a little bit of Navin Nirad Prabhu. Prabhu joined Iskcon Society in the year 1984, and since 1984 till today, he has been distributing Srila Prabhupada's books almost every single day. And he has almost like 700 books in one day as his record for distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. So wherever Prabhuji travels all over the world, his main theme is book distribution, inspiring devotees by his own example, and loving them by taking them to book distribution. So I was in touch with Navin Nirad Prabhu for quite a long time, and Prabhu also shared how last few years he has been traveling in Central America, South America, and all different islands in Caribbean, where he went out for distributing books of Srila Prabhupada, and he took devotees and inspired them to do street Sankirtan. So we have with us His Grace Navina Nirada Prabhu. Prabhu, thank you for joining us and giving your time for all of us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Baladev Prabhu. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to be with you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, I would like to begin with a small philosophical question before we go on to the basics and also the basic tenets and practices which you follow in your life for distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. So my first question for you will be on behalf of ICC is, what does book distribution mean to you, Prabhu?
Sankirtan is the Yuga Dharma. It is what works. So this is the way how we primarily satisfy the previous acharyas and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can try so many things and you will see that the effects are limited. And Prabhupada gave us deity worship, he gave us temple construction, farm projects, and we're trying to fulfill all those because they are part of the bigger mission. Yet we have to make sure that the main focus is the chanting of Hare Krishna, the performance of Harinam Sankirtan, the distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books, because that is really what works the best in this day and age. And we have seen that even though we have tried to engage in all these different types of yagyas, the scope of them are limited because of logistical challenges, personnel challenges, and the receptivity of the times. Yet we can see that immediately when the Harinam party comes out, people get it, the lights go on. Everybody's like, yeah, I understand. This is what these guys are all about. Yes. Yeah. And everybody joins in. It's not something that requires introduction, that requires big explanation. People just naturally sense it. This is what works. And so we should keep doing what works. That is spreading the holy name and giving people Prabhupada's books and Bhagavad Prasadam. In this way, they get pratyaksha. Pratyaksha vagamam dharmyam susukam kartum avyayam. People want a direct experience. They don't just want theory and ideology. They want to see what's a taste. Why do people sit on Marine Drive and share a plate of kulfi? Because they like the taste. Why they do panipuri, jalmuri, and all these other classic desi pastimes? Because they get a taste from it, right? So in a similar way, when we engage in Harinam, we get a taste from it. It's very palpable. And that's why we joined this movement. That's what called us. That's what kept us. And that's what keeps us moving forward. So sometimes it's easy to forget these things when we get caught up in our own little story of I need to maintain my temple, my family, my business, my position. So we should never forget what is the baseline, why we joined, why did we come to this movement in the first place. Sometimes it's important to kind of revisit the you know, the basics, and see that, like in sports, if you focus on the basics, you'll always win. But if you lose track and you forget about the basics, the foundational principles, and you try to engage in different techniques, then usually things go sideways. They become more difficult.
Thank you, Prabhu, for that wonderful. I was thinking you'll give a philosophical answer, but give a very practical answer dealing with the basic understanding of book distribution, and the primary focus of why we came to Krishna consciousness was to share what we have with others. Prabhu, I
Yeah,
was
it's like the oxygen, like you may have everything, but if you don't have oxygen, you're not going to be that happy. So in a similar way, the Virat Purusha, it only came to life once actually the active principle manifested, and that is the Lord's pleasure. And that is what we experience, that Krishna has allowed us to establish our movement, especially here in India. So many beautiful temples, great congregations, so many empowered preachers. Yet, unless we stay in Sankirtan mode, which means team play, selfless service, team first, rejoicing in each other's success, then sometimes it becomes a little convoluted. We can feel a little isolated and distracted.
yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, one very vital question which I always was thinking is that, Prabhu, you had a good experience of distributing Srila Prabhupada's books not only abroad, in Europe, in America, and other places, but also you experience a rich experience of distributing books in India as well, which is very rare. Generally, devotees who have experience in India don't have much experience abroad, and devotees who have experience abroad, they have some experience of distributing books in India, but within the Iskcon campus. But I have seen you also distributing books in the airports, bus stations, streets of India also. So, could you like to just give understanding about how different is book distribution in India from distributing books in outside India? Because right now our audience here is mostly devotees from India who are now watching you speak about book distribution so that they get enlivened for the ongoing book distribution marathon. So
Thank you,
you
Baladev Prabhu. Krishna has very kindly given you the best country in the world to distribute his books. Here, you don't need any introduction. People take one look at you and they get it. They understand. Oftentimes, they already have their wallet out. So basically, it doesn't need much explanation. You just say Hare Krishna. You hand them the book, and you be enthusiastic, and people will participate. Now, whether they take a big book or Mahabook or a full set or a small book, that is a detail. But the principle is that people are well aware of the Hare Krishna movement and of our literatures. They know Iskcon is a brand name, and we have, by the sacrifice of all the previous generations, earned that reputation. So now people, all they want to see is, are you actually who you say you are? Are you actually part of this Iskcon movement? So that means you should be behaving, and you should have that type of demeanor. So books, it works anywhere, whether you're traveling, we were in Puri. I was just walking on the beach every day for an hour or two in the afternoons. And during the yatra, I distributed 300 books. My friend distributed 100 books. We just walked around and said Hare Krishna to people and gave them books. So it definitely can be done. What to speak of if one has a plan that you go to a regular location, like I've seen train stations or in the area of train and bus stations where people commute. There's big groups of people. And when they see devotees, especially when they chant and distribute books, it's really attractive. People really appreciate this because they understand this is what culture means. This is what we all supposed to be doing. And so here there are different situational challenges that Sometimes people may not have enough money for a big book, that people may be quite tired from their work and from their commute. Yet I have seen that the chances of giving people a book of Prabhupada are very high. They're very high. Like I go on my walks here in Mayapur every day, and every day I distribute a good number of books just by walking around campus and talking with whoever I meet. And I feel that anybody can do that because the formula works. Prabhupada has put in the effort, and people, they open the book and immediately they read something that captivates their mind. You can try it out. Just let them open a book and let them read any sentence, and immediately people are satisfied. Nobody I saw that will reject or say no. Because Krishna in their heart tells them this is good for you. You need this. Yes, give him something. So for me, it's in one sense easier because I don't speak all the local languages. I don't have to engage in debate or arguments. They understand this is a foreigner. But one can even distribute books without speaking. You can just hand them the book and then accept the donation. People here very much understand this principle of Tadati Pratigrinati Guyamakyati Prichati, that they're looking for transformational exchanges, not for transactions. But they appreciate this culture of giving, this culture of sharing, this culture of a person who is sharing their happiness, their joy, by allowing others to take part in that. Whereas in other parts of the world, sometimes people need a frame of reference. They want to know, why are you doing this? What is this? And why me? And what do you want? These questions are not really necessary here in India because it's already understood, because people got trained by their grandmothers and by their uncles and aunties. So you have a great thing going here. There's a great advantage. Of course, as India is becoming more and more westernized, you have a lot of younger section also who kind of doesn't get it so much. They have a little problem sometimes, and one needs to help them to appreciate. Yet they are also quite easily inspired to take up the process of Sankirtan. We just have to be a little patient with them, because sometimes the younger sections, they're not so in tune, they're not so switched on, and they want to be modern, they want to be a little arrogant, they want to, they try to challenge a little bit, like that. Student class, Prabhupada said it's okay, they can be a little proud because they're intelligent. So but ultimately, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan, the Sankirtan movement is already declared a success by Mahaprabhu. And if we stay in that mood, that spirit, we can be an instrument. There is only winners. There's only winners. That's the beauty of Sankirtan. It's not like in cricket where one party wins, the other party loses, and so it's either you're on top of the world or it's game over. Sankirtan means winning, and nothing succeeds like success. So if you want to be a winner, engage in Sankirtan. And by Prabhupada's sacrifice, we have this wonderful opportunity that we have such a wealth of information, of knowledge in the form of his books. This is the greatest gift. Sampradaya means giving the complete gift, giving people something truly memorable, something truly valuable. And most people, they have some honesty at heart, so they will be able to appreciate that.
Thank you, Prabhu, for that wonderful answer. In fact, you answered multiple questions of mine already. Thank you for that. Prabhu, one thing was also, I'm sorry, I was speaking with devotees, and one thing which comes always in devotees' mind when they go for Sankirtan is that they don't do well. A lot of time distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, but the score is very less. So just like I introduced you today here in the evening, that you distribute hundreds of books every single day, and 700 books is your top score. So, Prabhu, how do you manage to do this big score? Because it's not so easy to distribute one book, whether in India or abroad. It's a tough thing. And devotees distribute Srila Prabhupada's books for many years. They struggle a lot, and we see that you very naturally, very easily do that. So, any tips on that, Prabhu?
Yeah, everybody has their own capacity, whether you be Garuda or Hanuman or squirrel or spider, or everybody has their own capacity, and Krishna can increase your capacity or you can decrease your capacity. So like you mentioned 700 books. Yeah, those days, I mean, that's crazy days. I worked 12 hours straight, nonstop. It was pretty intense. And now I do less because I do other services also. So everybody does according to their capacity, and Krishna, he reciprocates. For the person who gets the book, it doesn't matter whether you distributed another million books or none. They got the mercy, they got the book. So sometimes we have this competitiveness that either I'm number one or I don't want to play the game, or I just I can only do this if I'm recognized and if I'm the best. But that should not be our attitude. We should do service for service sake. We should have this mode of Anyabhilashita Shunyam and Haitukiya Pratyata. It should be unmotivated, uninterrupted. And in this way, we will actually gain great realization, great insights. Otherwise, you may do a good score, but become disappointed because somebody else did more, as if that would be a bad thing. So numbers come, numbers go. What's really important is that we never lose the love of the game. And that means we have to see I'm a servant. I'm not the controller, I'm not the enjoyer. Krishna is Yageshwar. He is Bhoktaram Yagatapasam Suridam Sarvadehinam. Achata Shatravashanta Sadava Sadibhushana. He's the Yatvaman Shantirichiti. We have to know these things. Otherwise we become confused about our identity and we become disappointed. I've seen devotees who did decent, but maybe not the best score. And then they stopped because they felt it's not worth it. Either I'm honored as the greatest, as the best, or I won't do this. Well, if you can only play when you're the best, you're not going to do much. You're not going to go for very long. So we have seen many shooting stars. We have seen many incarnations come and go. We have seen many number ones. Yet I'm more interested, okay, what's your lifetime achievement award? What's your overall performance? Because a big shot is a little shot who keeps on shooting. I know many devotees who are not huge, but they're very steady. They keep on going. So Krishna is more interested in what we hold back than rather what we give. If you give 1 lakh, but you have 1,000 crores behind your back, Krishna is not gonna fall for the bribe. So Krishna wants to see daily surrender, that we put in a good effort. And that is the beauty, that every day is a new opportunity to surrender to Krishna. Every day is a new opportunity to try to attract Krishna's attention, and the mercy of the pleasure of the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life. That is a fact. Yasyadeve parabhakti retadeve tathagurau tasyaite katitahirta prakashante mahatmana. So for me, it's a very good challenge to every day start at a clean slate. Like every day we start chanting, okay, I'm new at this. I don't know this. Let me try. Let's see if the mantra works. Let's see if somebody stops. And then it's like being childlike, like Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah, Krishna is here. Nishingadev, yeah, he protects me. So not to become complacent and to think that I figured this thing out, this bhakti thing, because as soon as we start cruising, then we plateau. Then there is no more there's no more excitement, there's no more advancement. So we should always keep that positive tension going in our spiritual life, that let me try to do a little more. Prabhupada said, I have one disease, I cannot think small. I want to do something extraordinary for Krishna. Now, whichever result ultimately we get, that's up to Krishna. It's not in our hands. So we should never get discouraged. We should always give our best, and then the next day try to do a little more.
Thank you, Prabhu, for that wonderful, inspirational answer. I collected this point from this last answer was how consistency is very important rather than just going out for few years. The word of lifetime achievement is very important. I like that word, lifetime achievement. We're not looking for a few shots, but throughout the years, all our year, throughout our life, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books and consistently working on the best part of our life. Prabhu, you also mentioned about challenges. So I would like to now ask you about one very personal question to you. I hope you will be able to answer this. Is that definitely every devotees, they feel that if someone is doing good, then everything is rosy for him, right? Everything is going good. Everything is smooth, as if the three modes of material nature do not stop him. But I know it's not so easy, Prabhu. You keep smiling and doing book distribution for so many years. Definitely, you must have also faced challenges in your life in terms of this service of book distribution in India as well as abroad. Could you let us know what, if you possibly can, some
Yeah,
challenges
definitely.
you overcome them?
Definitely. I mean, Krishna is our I say he's Surit. He's our well-wishing friend. So he definitely knows how to keep the suspense, how to keep us humble and and crying out for his intervention. There are different challenges. Some are logistical, like here. Sometimes sourcing books is not easy when one travels a lot. Transporting them, carrying weights around, especially as we get older, might be not so easy. It can be difficult. The climate is sometimes extreme, and of course, there is always the element of rejection and people who are non-responsive. So all these factors they play into the equation. But it's like if somebody goes into the kitchen to cook, and I think you can all relate to this example. You already know it's going to be hot. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be challenging. There are just the different logistical scenarios that will inevitably appear. And if we're prepared to deal with them, then we don't really get discouraged or distracted by them. We know this is just the small price to pay to serve my Lord. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the difficulties that arise in the performance of my devotional service are my ecstasy. So we should ask ourselves, am I having enough Krishna anxiety? Am I having enough Krishna ecstasy in my life? If not, then most likely I'm not really doing much. I'm just stuck in comfort zone, and I'm just going between the fridge and my TV set, and that is not really living in sweet surrender mode. That's not really feeling Krishna's closeness and Krishna's intervention. When we're out into the unknown, going into the unknown, facing persons that we don't know, scenarios that we haven't figured out, it really forces us to call out for Krishna, to be in the mood of the coward boys who just walked into Agasura and said, yeah, it could be that this is a big demon, but 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 it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, it's kind of scary fun, but it looks like a lot of fun. Let's go check it out. So, so that is sometimes the mood. Of course, we shouldn't put Krishna in any dangerous situation, but ultimately everything is in Krishna's hands. It's all Krishna's. It's all Krishna's pastime. I mean, worst case scenario, what can people do? They say no, or they steal a book, or they say something we may not like. So it's not the end of the world. Uh, our false ego may take a little hit. Uh, so that's not really such a big deal, so to speak. If we know that I'm eternal, I'm wise, and I'm blissful, and Krishna loves me, then nobody can touch you. You're basically you're a superhero because you're connected with Krishna's internal potency. And that's what we want, that's what we need, and that's what we'd like each and every member of this Hare Krishna movement to experience. Because otherwise, we kind of cheat ourselves. We kind of cheat our members by just selling them the retirement plan. Okay, you know, get a flat in Mayapur and you know, a timeshare, a GV, and give a little money for this, give a little money for that. But if we want people to actually have that life-changing experience, that Krishna is real and he will intervene in your life, and you can experience this every day when you go on Sankirtan. Because Krishna is responsive. He's not going to just allow you to be out there and struggle and to get crushed by material energy. Krishna is very kind, and he really makes wonderful arrangements. That's why I go on book distribution pretty much every day, because I want to meet Krishna. I want to have that darshan. Just like in the morning we go for Mangal Arti, right? We go for darshan arti because we want to see our Lord. This is an essential need, an indispensable need of the soul to be in touch with Krishna. In a similar way, devotees who have required that taste of Sankirtan, sharing Prabhupada's books, they want to feel that closeness and to see how Krishna intervenes in their lives. So try it out. See how it does, how it works for you. And then if you don't like it, don't worry about it. But I guarantee you, there is something very magical, very, very special about this. And people actually, they like to cooperate. They like to get in on this adventure, and it creates this mood, like that mood that was there when the Brijbasis were collaborating and cooperating for Krishna's pleasure in the Govardhan Leela, in all these different pastimes. So, and you can feel that unity of purpose, that strong bonding that's there in Krishna's service.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, I just want to also express from my side that when we have book distribution marathons and then we come together and share our experiences, then devotees come out with so much of nectar, doing street sankirtan one-to-one on the stalls and all. And now we see that there are many more methodologies coming in book distribution. Like one is Shastradan, where someone goes and inspires a person to distribute or at least sponsor 100 books, 1,000 books, or something like a project of going to schools and convincing the principal to prescribe in the syllabus. So then simultaneously all the students, they get all uh, the books in one go. So in such cases, many times what happens, it may also be an issue where devotees who are doing one-to-one book distribution on the streets, they see that the other methodologies of book distribution like streets, this Shastradan or going to schools, many more devotees find it easy for those methodologies. And they will feel that, well, this is traditional methodology of going out on the streets and putting on the stall and distributing books. So how you would like to, inspire devotees to continue the traditional methodologies as well of going out on the street and doing Sankirtan, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this up. Just like in any sports competition, there are different categories, you know. So those who do industries or Shastradhan or sponsored books or Gita contests, naturally it's a different ball game. They're doing huge. So, and if you go on the street one to one person, you will not be able to achieve those type of numbers. Yet we see that everything is required. We cannot neglect one over the other. So we should be out there in all places and in all situations. And it is very, very rewarding. I love just meeting people one on one and having a heart to heart and having a a real a real life experience, so to speak. And people really appreciate that. So if somebody has the capacity to do Shastradhan, to do Gita contest, wonderful. Let them do it. Let them put out millions of books. That's wonderful. I'm happy for them. Huh? But not everybody can do it because it takes a certain skill, a certain mindset to do that. We have thousands and thousands of members in our congregation, and many of them are from simple backgrounds. They're working class, so they can share the books with friends and colleagues and co-workers on their commute when they travel. That's what I do. Whenever I move, I carry books with me. So in this way, everybody can do 10, 20 books a day. We have about 1 million members in Iskcon. If everybody does one book a day, that's 1 million books a day. That's 365 million books. That's about 40 times as many books as Iskcon does in a year. This just by everybody doing one book a day, we'll do 40 times more books in a year than what we're doing now. Is that doable? Can you do one book a day? So we should think in terms of scales of numbers to really empower our congregation. Otherwise, if it's everything or nothing, then a handful will do a lot and the vast majority will do nothing. And that's just not acceptable because we need to create this unity, this team spirit. And that means everybody counts. Everybody counts. Every book counts. And everybody, no book left behind. No devotee left behind. Everybody should at least distribute a few books every day. So that is the challenge. That is the challenge for this marathon. And I guarantee you that if we think more along those lines, teamwork, synergy, everybody doing as much as they can, and someday we'll do thousands, someday we'll do hundreds, someday we'll do in the single digits, but everybody feels, hey, I'm part of this. I'm part of this success. I'm a winner. And every book touches people's lives. So it's not that only big scores are pleasing. But those who can, they should definitely go for it, knock it out of the ballpark, and yet let everybody do according to their capacity, and that will be pleasing to Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, as we begin our marathon every year, there are certain questions which keep repeating. Devotees come, one of them is pricing of the book, and whether we should do the same books every time or have new books. But every year then we break all those barriers and thought process and we do more books than the previous years. One such question which keeps coming every time when the marathon begins is, bro, nowadays no one is reading books. Everyone's into the digital things. They are reading on the mobiles, on the pads. So, bro, should not we think about revolutionary idea of going on those lines of book distribution, e-books, and not just think about the hard books because people don't buy nowadays books. How you like to address from your side this particular question?
It's a whole bunch of excuses. It's like the kid who says, you know, Mom, all this stuff, all this homework stuff, I'm never going to need this in my life. It's completely useless. And mom says, don't even try. No excuses, do your homework. Okay. So it's all a bunch of excuses. I'm not buying it. First of all, everything that's there on devices comes from books anyway. So ultimately, everything comes from Krishna. Everything comes from Shabda Brahma. There is no knowledge outside of Veda, okay? So once you understand this fact, then whether you translate it on a device and a digital platform or in a printed format, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But print books are always going to be there, and they're still way, way, way ahead of the digital, especially when it comes to substance, when it comes to real content. So yes, if somebody has the ability to sell ebooks, that's wonderful. But who of those people who make those arguments actually does digital distribution? Nobody practically. They just rattle off some arguments from their mental platform, and then they want to be done with it and say, okay, you saw, it's not possible, I'm not going to do it, and that's it, case closed. That means that's a rascal, because that's not even a proper sequence of thought, because you're not really following through on your logic. So we should not allow the rascal mind to dictate and to dominate our lives by trying to find out excuses. But we should rather figure out how we can implement the instructions, the spiritual master, and then we will see how so many new opportunities open up. Yes, it's wonderful. We have digital opportunities, and they're great, and they can enhance, but they will never excel or diminish the printed books. I have not seen anywhere where the digital distribution has undermined the printed distribution. So rather, they can enhance each other, just like certain BBTs. They give a redemption code that when you buy the hard copy book, you get a free ebook included with it, like that. So you can bundle, you can package things together. You buy the hard one, you get an ebook for free, or you buy the ebook, you get a hard copy. Either way, it's going to increase. It's going to increase the distribution. So we should not get into this mental platform of coming up with these false dichotomies. These because of this we can't do it. Oh, now we have elections, or we lost the World Cup, or there's inflation, or there hasn't, whatever. You fill in the blanks. Where there's a will, there's a way. When we understand the need that people have an intrinsic need for knowledge, because we are Sat Chit Ananda. So we're looking for wisdom. We're looking for information. That's just who we are. We are wise by nature. Yet because we have associated with the three modes, we forgot. We forgot our true intrinsic identity. And we need to reconnect and reawaken through this bhakti yoga process. And that's where the books come into play. So books will always be there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
I was reflecting on this point, Prabhu, that only when the book is in front of you, you feel inspired to read them, right? I remember there are so many books which we get on the soft version, and we just keep on piling them on the folders and forgetting them.
Yeah.
So you may find it easy to have soft books, but ultimately when it comes to read, people want a printed book. And I feel that, as you mentioned beautifully, that yes, even though the technology is changing, yet people are not living the traditional methodology of reading a printed form of book. Completely
Yeah,
right.
especially here in India, where people are commuting, so they're sitting in buses, in trains, in cars, and there's ample opportunity. So the books have to be available. They have to be there. Also, as soon as you read on your phone, you can notice how it's always the tendency, let me go check messages, or, stuff keeps coming in and starts ringing. But if you have a book and you just put your phone away, you notice how your quality of attention, your quality of absorption increases. It's quite a different type of experience. Do you notice? Naturally, when you travel, you say, okay, I don't want to carry all these big books around. I agree. But there is still nothing that replaces your good old friend here, the hard copy, if I can actually see it. You see, that's the problem with the digital age, that the whole thing may be very hard to even perceive, because we have become so conditioned by our devices, by our unnecessary necessities.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So
Krishna.
we had a very beautiful evening today, speaking to our legend Navina Nirada Prabhu for inspiring us on book distribution marathon. It was thoroughly enjoying and beautiful insights into various aspects, the challenges, the enthusiasm, and the different aspects of book distribution. We are here with Navin Nirad Prabhu. Prabhu, as we leave today evening and get on the boards and go for book distribution marathon, can you convey some beautiful a message for all the book distributors, not only in India, but all over the world, who know you, who adore you for your book distribution? Any one beautiful message for them?
Yes, now is the most important time in your life. What you do now is the foundation for the rest of eternity, for the rest of your Krishna consciousness. So study Prabhupada's books every day. A day without reading is a day wasted. Read every day Prabhupada's books, preferably before you start chanting japa. And always carry books with you wherever you go. You can do 10, 20, or 50 books without even trying hard. If you put in a little effort, you can do many more. Krishna has given you the best country, so do huge and build your teams. Empower the congregation. Pass the ball, pass the mic, pass the torch, and you will see how things will scale up and reach tremendous proportions. Thank you for your dedication, your sacrifice, and your enthusiasm. It is palpable, it is humbling, and it is very inspiring. So India is #1 in the world, yet we could be doing 10 times more here. We've just barely scratched the surface of of what is possible. And charity starts at home. A lot of our members don't have full sets. There are countries in the world which are deserted. There's hardly devotees. There's hardly books. So there's a lot of scope for preaching and book distribution. I'm convinced that Krishna has a plan, and to be part of Krishna's plan is the most exciting prospect and the most inspiring prospect in life. So thank you for taking on this labor of love and sharing your heart with people by giving them one of Prabhupada's books. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you, Baladev Prabhu, for your friendship and your trust and your dedication. And I wish you all a blissful, happy, and huge Prabhupada Marathon 2023. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kritasnadevcha patitanam pavanebhya vaishnavebhya namo namaha. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sankirtan devotees. Hare Krishna.
So thank you so much for all of you for joining us today evening for this beautiful, wonderful talk by Navina Nirad Prabhu, who came late. All of you a little late, please log in again to the YouTube channel, ICC book distribution channel, and you can see this beautiful question answers, wherein we got very practical understanding of today's book distribution scenario and how we can continue. As Prabhuji mentioned, that consistency is very important, and it's not just a one-time book distribution effort, it's a lifetime achievement. So let's all gear up on, and let's make 2023 this the year ending as a very memorable by giving out what we have received. Let's share Srila Prabhupada's mercy with others, and nothing big can be as beautiful as Srila Prabhupada's book. By giving Srila Prabhupada's book, we actually give Srila Prabhupada to each and every soul we meet. So let's pack our book bag and go ahead and march into Sankirtan on the streets, go through different methodologies we have book distribution. Let's make big this year. And please Srila Prabhupada and please all our Vaishnavas. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Book Distribution Marathon ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. All goes to Prabhupada.